So welcome to SIHH 2017. We're delighted that you can join us. My name is Brian Duffy. I'm the CEO of Watches of Switzerland in the UK. We are the biggest retailer of luxury watches in the UK and delighted to be here at SIHH. SIHH is one of two major watch fairs that happen here in Switzerland, of course. This one, and then the second one happens towards the end of March, which is called Basel World, and of course we'll be there again. So what we're going to do in this show is tell you about the great products that we've seen, talk about the trends that are happening out there, and bring you at first hand some interview and some information about some of the key people in this great industry. I'll be joined, or I am joined by our panel of experts. They're all colleagues of mine. They've all forgotten more about watches than I know. So I'm really delighted to introduce our panel here. My first two colleagues are responsible for buying all of the wonderful watches that we have in Watches of Switzerland. I've been doing it for many years. So we have our Director of Buying, Mark Toulson, and then our Head Buyer of all specialist watches is Faye Soteri. Welcome to you both. And then we have our art salesman, our token brummie is Dave here. And Dave handles all of our top VIP salespeople, all of our collectors, and he'll be giving the perspective. He is an expert in watches, of course, but he'll also be giving the perspective very much from the point of view of his customers that he knows very, very well. So it's been a really great, really exciting first day here at SIHH. But what is SIHH? What does it matter? Who does it matter to? Let's take a look.
The SIHH is the most luxurious watch event that you can possibly attend. It just shows you what 2017 holds in terms of the best trends in watchmaking. You get to see what brands like Cartier, Van Cleef & Arpels, IWC have in hold for you. And if you love watches, this is definitely the place to be.
Watches. High-end watches. Yeah,
mostly high-end and plenty of them.
Give us a chance to see everyone and have a nice overview for the year to come of all the brands and what they're doing.
When we look at our wrist, we see stories, and then we immediately start talking about what we're wearing. So we're storytellers.
This event is an amazing place. It's an amazing occasion where all the people around the world gather all together to admire beautiful pieces and masterpieces.
Everything's the best. I appreciate the chance to actually have a lot of one-on-ones. The opportunity to actually talk to the CEOs and the marketing managers make it really a special place to be.
SIHH is a major event in the watch business. This is once a year event where all the major watch houses show their novelties and products.
Do you want to know what's happening in terms of the watch industry for the remainder of the year? You absolutely have to be here. You cannot miss this event.
I was delighted earlier today to catch up with George Kern. George is one of the most important people here at SIHH, and I got the opportunity to interview him. Very important guy, cool guy, great fun, somebody that we have a lot of dealings with, and I always enjoy meeting with him, and I enjoyed interviewing him earlier today. I'm delighted to be joined here by Mr. George Kern. George, thank you very much for joining us on what is one of the busiest days of the year for you. The first day of SIHH here for 2017. Despite Mr. Kern's youthful appearance, he's actually a veteran of this industry, has been with the Richemont Group for I think over 16 years. So we'd love to hear from you your view from a Richemont perspective of what the luxury watch industry should expect in 2017 and how you're responding to it.
Well, obviously I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know how next year will be. We need a couple of things. First of all, we need stability, political, economic stability around the world. Europe has been suffering a lot with terrorism this year. You had exchange rate matters which influence our business. So the luxury industry, in a way, needs calmness. Yes. So that's one aspect of it. But the last couple of months were quite good, and we've announced the results for the last quarter. So things seems to move on in the right direction. I think the second thing what we need is realism in everything we're doing. I mean in terms of product offering, in terms of pricing, in terms of perceived value for the customer. At the end of the day, he wants a great product for a very reasonable price or with a very good offer, perceived value, and that's, I think, a key element for the development of our brand.
We at Watches of Switzerland obviously are market leaders in the UK market. The UK has been a great market for luxury Swiss watches for some time. We're enjoying the exchange rate benefit at the moment, but in fairness, we've had year-on-year growth for many years. Why do you think the UK loves your products so much?
The UK is a very sophisticated market to start with. Let's not forget that London is one of the capitals of fashion, of creativity. Today, all young people go to London, Brexit or not Brexit. People want to be in London. It's a very cool city. It's an international city. It's a trend-setting city. And therefore, we're very happy, and we need to be successful in the UK to reflect and to know that actually we respond to the taste of today's public. Let's not forget also the digital part, the e-commerce part. The UK is one of the leading markets in the world for many, many years. There is a kind of culture of buying also online, and we have been doing things together, and we're working on things together, and I'm very happy. So that's also the future for us.
What are the highlights we're going to see from IWC at this SIHH?
It's another milestone, I would say, for the development of our females product lines and offer. 2005, 2006, we launched the Portofino midsize, which has been a tremendous success. Last year, more on a sportier level, the Pilots in 36 millimeters, and this year the Da Vinci, which has been the historically strongest female watch we've ever made 15, 20 years ago. And we're very happy to relaunch it.
And there's some other line extensions, some other new products coming in the
Well, I'm wearing one of them, which is, we have a couple of novelties on the Portofino. Here I'm wearing the moon face on the Portofino, which is also a typical function at IWC. No, we always animate. There will be also a little later on in the year some novelties on the Pilots watches, but to complement a little bit our collection. The big theme is the Da Vinci, and we're very confident for that line.
So we really appreciate having your time. I've got one last question. Are you going to be playing the drums later this week?
No, no. That was no. We have that was a one-off. Thank God I'm not a professional musician. I would not make a lot of money with that. We have an amazing show tomorrow night, a hologram show, quite unique, with probably one of the best hologram organizations in the world. So it will be very, very impressive.
All right. Well, we're delighted you're not changing profession. And thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
So really great for George Kern to give us his time today and hear his vision for all he's responsible for, and all very exciting. No doubt at his heart is still IWC. He's been CEO of the brand for a long, long time. He loves it. And immediately after that interview, I had the pleasure of joining my colleagues here and finding out all of what was happening in IWC. And it's great. The big story, as George was telling us, is the relaunch of the Da Vinci. It's something from the archives, was a great development in years gone by. We think they've done a great job. And one thing we think they've done really, really well is bring tremendous complication, unbelievable value for money. So the first one we're going to talk about, Mark, is this unbelievable perpetual calendar.
Indeed, yeah, exciting times for watch lovers everywhere. This is the Caliber 89. It's a perpetual calendar chronograph. It's got a 68-hour power reserve, and I think one of the crucial things about this is it's a relatively inexpensive price for what it is. It's £25,500, which is a lot of money in some ways, but in terms of its competitive set, it's excellent value. It's got a really cool grey dial, and as I say, it's part of the big Da Vinci launch this year. We think it's terrific. We think it's going to be a great success.
Yep. We love steel watches, right?
We do.
I mean, it's half the market in the UK.
Yep.
And this polished steel really looks nice on this really complicated product.
Yep.
So a big part of Da Vinci and a big focus for IWC is getting more women to wear their product. It's not been a big strength of IWC historically. They made a couple of attempts, but we think they've really got it right this time, Faye. So what did you think of that beautiful diamond set piece you're looking at?
I love the 36 automatic that they introduced today, actually. Beautiful raspberry strap is what they're calling it, and a carat worth of diamonds on the bezel. So this comes in at under £10,000, 9,250, sorry. But it's a great watch, and they're rolling out the extensions and on non-diamond set, on steel, and a moon phase as well. And the entry price point is just under £5,000. So they're really targeting a female market for a brand that's primarily has been known for men's watches.
Yep. And we really think they've got it right. The moon phase, a big trend that we've seen already in the short time that we've been here at SIHH has been moon phase. Everybody's doing it, everybody likes having it, and we think this is another great example.
Absolutely, it introduces the slight complication for a lady on an automatics watch, and it just makes a difference to, as opposed to just a three-hand date. It's interesting, and women are becoming a bit more au fait with movements and watches generally.
And behaviour really changes during a full moon, so you need to know when it's coming, right?
Absolutely.
And what you have there, Dave, the whole Laureus Foundation, a great thing that IWC does. Maybe tell us a wee bit about it.
Yeah.
It's a great philanthropic thing that's been with IWC for a long time, the Laureus Foundation.
Happy to. Yeah, I must admit, I was really pleasantly surprised by this Da Vinci, first of all, because it looks a lot better than I saw in the imagery before we came to the fair. Every year, IWC do a particular piece for Laureus. I think this is one of their best ever.
Great.
It's limited to 1,500 pieces. The price is great. It's 10,950. It goes to a great cause. It goes for Sports Foundation for Children. I might even buy 11 for Aston Villa to see if they can get any good at sports. But this watch as a Da Vinci, for me, is my favourite in the Da Vinci range.
Oh,
really strong watch.
And again, really on trend, blue dial, and IWC do a really nice clear blue. Huh?
Yeah. Blue dials are absolutely the attention for this year.
So from IWC, the big story was a Da Vinci relaunch, but there was lots of other things happening with new products in the engineer line and the pilot line. There's so much, and we really think this brand has got tremendous momentum, and we can't wait to bring it back to the UK and present it to you in the Watches of Switzerland stores. So Faye's left us for the moment. She'll be back later, but we're delighted at this point to be joined by another member of our panel, a good friend of Watches of Switzerland. It's Bill Prince. Bill's the deputy editor of British GQ, and he's also their expert on watches. And Bill, welcome.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, great that you could join us. You've been in many SIHHs. How have you found today so far?
Yes, and you can almost say it's Groundhog Day sometimes, because you walk in and it's the same temperature, same lovely lady serving the same drinks and the same canapes.
Hopefully
and then
it's not the same lovely ladies for the amount of time you've been coming.
Maybe not. No, what I particularly enjoyed doing, Brian, is going around, seeing the stands, trying to guess what's behind those extraordinary designs that they bring each year, trying to work out what sort of products they're selling, what sort of stories they're trying to tell. Because as we all know, watches are all about stories. They're all about heritage, they're about background, great achievements in watchmaking, but also something very cultural as well. So you're trying to figure out what the brands are talking about this year. So started bright and early, had a quick look at the IWC watches, courtesy of your good self. Had a great meeting with George Kern, fantastic product there. Then really managed to drill down with some brands and also talk to some of the custodians, because the best brands managers understand that they're responsible responsible for, but merely representative of a huge tradition in watchmaking.
Sure.
So finding some friends on the stands who could explain some of the new product. One of the greatest, I think, is Lange Söhne.
Sure.
I think it was President Roosevelt who said, walk quietly and carry a big stick. I think in terms of SIHH, that's Lange Söhne's role. You know, they get on with their lives very quietly in Saxony, but they come out with some amazing product.
Yeah, totally agree. And you caught up with the artistic director today?
The communications director, Arnd Einhorn, who showed me their extraordinary tourbograph.
And you managed to get us an interview?
I did, yes.
So shall we take a look?
I'd love to see it. Well, we're here on the Lange Söhne stand with Arnd, who's going to show us what many consider already to be the piece of the fair. Arnd, I'll hand it over to you to describe.
Well, actually, we came here with an interesting collection of 7 new models which we brought. So far, it is the biggest news collection we have done here for SIHH, so quite challenging. And the highlight piece, which you can already see when you come into the booth at the entrance, that's a giant watch 5 meter high. It's the Turbograph Perpetual Polymerite, and that's the timepiece I have here in my hand. So a very special piece, a limited edition of 50 only in platinum case. And it comprises 5 different complications. So it is a tourbillon first of all, it is a fusee and chain mechanism, it is a chronograph with rattrapante, and it is a perpetual calendar. So for the non-watch guys, maybe a little bit a difficult explanation, but 5 major challenges for watchmaker and for everybody who deals with watchmaking. And if you look into the movement, it is 684 parts within the movement. But I count the little chain which is inside as one part, because the chain alone has 636 components.
That's quite incredible. We should talk a little bit about Lange Söhne's history in this regard. I think it was President Roosevelt who said, walk quietly and carry a big stick. In some senses, that is how the brand's always performed, isn't it? You go about your business in a particular way, but then you come out with these quite extraordinary pieces.
Well, I think we have our own approach, and at Lange it's very much about fine watchmaking, about exclusivity, about finding new ways, new approaches, new innovations. In each timepiece you find something what is special, what is rarely done before, like we are doing. The fusing chain mechanism in that watch is a good example.
So in this combination particularly, these 5 complications have never visited one another in the same case until this year?
Well, no, actually not like that, and it's for the first time here. We have introduced the fusee and chain in our first collection 1994. It was the first time that a fusee and chain was realized in a wristwatch. It was done before in pocket watches, in marine chronometers. We did it at Lange for the first time.
Do you think it's worth explaining to the audience what a fusee and chain actually represents in terms of watchmaking?
Well, actually, it's like a very tiny bicycle chain. It has a length of about 18 centimeters, and it's just to compensate the losing power of a mainspring by a fusee with different diameters, and so at the end it's the same torque, the same power over the overall running time of a watch.
So it's an early form of constant force?
It is a kind of constant force, exactly.
Yeah. And should we talk through a few of the other complications? You mentioned them at the beginning, but just remind me again.
Well, what is new in this timepiece is that we have for the first time in the polymerite realized a perpetual calendar, meaning that you have all the time indications, all the date indications, weekday, month and even leap year realized in the timepiece, of course also a moon phase. And it was not so easy that we just have added a model for a perpetual calendar. It doesn't work like that. So it was a new movement which we had to construct and which is now realized here for that timepiece.
Well, thank you, Arnd. And you mentioned at the head of this that there are 7 new launches this year.
Actually, yeah.
Which are the most exciting away from this amazing piece we have with this?
Well, there's a couple of other pieces which we also see here.
Let's talk about these.
There's also a very exciting Zeitwerk decimal strike, a new piece in our Zeitwerk family, which for the first time has 1 strike every 10 minutes. That's why we call it decimal strike. And it is done in honey gold. With model for the first time in honey gold, which is our very own alloy. It's an exclusive alloy for us. A very nice color, a big hardness, harder than other gold alloy. And just a beautiful timepiece in a limited edition of 100 pieces.
100. And we should talk, of course, about the annual calendar, which in this era of new realities represents a very interesting, exciting price point as well.
Exactly. So the annual calendar is for the first time done in the 1815 family. We have an annual calendar already in our Saxonia family, so now it's the second one in our collection. This is a manually wound, which is very interesting because it's rarely done in watchmaking, and it has a long power reserve, so nobody has to worry because the power reserve holds for 72 hours, so nothing to lose time. In case you lose the date indication, it's easier to adjust because you have a main push piece here at 2 o'clock, so one push here advances all the calendar indications by 1 day, so quite easy to gain time in case you have lost it.
That's incredible. Well, Arnd, thank you again for your time.
So another brand that was causing great excitement today at the SIHH, as it always does, was Panerai, a brand really known for great style, great innovation, particularly in technical materials, and it didn't disappoint in either account today. So the first one that you're sitting here with, Dave, star of the show, tell us about it, the Lab ID.
Yeah, Panerai were our first visit this morning, and they didn't disappoint. They showed us over 34 models, but they started off with this showstopper, Laboratory of Ideas, this is called. So the Lab ID, basically, it's all about the 50s as well. 50-year warranty, because they've removed a lot of the lubrication, the liquid lubrication in the movement, so that this watch goes a long period without having to be serviced. It's 50,000 euros. There's only 50 pieces limited worldwide. I'm 50 years old this year, this one's for me. It also has the blackest dial in the watch industry. Moving down a bit, it's a 49mm case, but this one's a showstopper. Have a look at the under the ultraviolet light.
Yeah, tremendous. If that doesn't impress your mates.
Yeah, I just need some mates.
Yeah. No, and it's the technology that's been developed in this laboratory, in this amazing limited edition, will be taken down in future years to other products, and we'll get that to look forward to in
Absolutely,
Panerai.
yeah.
So the second product that we saw today, and it's a new term that we're going to be using, is BMG, and another great development. So tell us about it, Mark.
Well, it's bulk metallic glass, which is it's a liquid metal that's injected into a mould at incredibly high temperature, and they cool it incredibly rapidly, and the atomic structure of the metal is such that because of the cooling it doesn't allow the atoms to align, so they've got a chaotic atomic structure which gives you an incredibly light, anti-corrosion and a generally scratch-proof case, which I'm privileged to be wearing it now. So it's a Submariner. It's a submersible rather. It's got a deep blue dial, and it's a terrific thing. So it's quite an incredible piece of technology and a new metal that Panerai have used. So it's the first case ever to be done in this material. It's a great thing. £8,200, and it will probably come out from about May.
So another fabulous innovation, and the one we're looking at here on the screen is another version of the submersible.
Yeah, this is the bronzo that we're looking on the screen, and was changed now.
Yeah.
Before the fair, the most interest I had from customers was about the bronzo,
yes.
the 671. Bronze with Panerai. They launched it with the Model 382 a few years ago. It became a revelation, so they've launched it again this year. Reference 671.
Super cool. What did you take from Panerai today, Bill?
Well, I love Panerai. It's one of the best known stories in the watch world, particularly to GQ readers. But it's a brand that never rests on its laurels. It can so easily tell a heritage story year in, year out. And as we see with the Lab ID, it brings absolutely cutting edge technology to an industry that I would say is not renowned for really shouting about from the rooftops about its innovations. The car industry is very good at talking about how it's improving the product for the consumer. Watch industry less good. This is a fantastic watch. Apparently, you can't scratch that sapphire, but by God, if you break it, it shatters like a car windscreen. Everything about it works. And on a boring consumer note, no one talks about servicing watches, which you know all about. And to have a watch that you won't need to service for 50 years, I think is an absolute game changer.
I mean, to actually think you're going to put it in your diary 50 years hence, get a watch service.
Oh, David be 100.
Yeah, no, great stuff overall from Panerai. Some other great products that they showed to us today. What other ones were your favourites?
It was good to see they've done something with their bracelet on one of their references. So they've revisited the bracelet whereby it follows
on the 42mm.
The 42mm piece. Basically, the curvature around the crown has continued through the bracelet, and that's a revisit. So that was one which we'll be doing particularly well on also.
So Panerai is a great brand, but obviously it has its frustrations with us. We can never get enough of what they present to us. But what was great today is they presented so many innovations, and we'll be getting some of all of them, and we'll be bringing them back to Watches of Switzerland, and I'm sure keeping a lot of the Paneristae in the UK very happy. And delighted to be rejoined by Faye on our panel, so we have our panel back together again. We're going to talk about Vacheron Constantin, one of the oldest brands, in fact we think the oldest Geneva brand, 1755. Tremendous products, tremendous history and heritage, and a great deal of complications. So one of which we're going to talk about right away, and that is a retrograde moon phase. Tell us about it, Dave.
Okay. This was a delight when they brought it out, a brand new watch. Basically, it's they're focusing on the lunar cycle. I mean, when I first came into this industry, I thought a moon phase was something which determined whether you're a werewolf or not. But looking at this with more accuracy, this one goes every 29.5 days is a full moon. This is accurate to with 122 years. So this is a proper complication.
Yes, indeed.
It retails at £37,700. Really nice clear dial. When they brought this one out, I think we all looked at each other and thought this is something a bit special. So
in addition to the calendar, it's showing the moon phase.
Absolutely, yeah. The moon phase there just above the 6 o'clock, and you've got the calendar across there from 9 o'clock through till 3 o'clock, giving you the date as well also.
A really great example of something really different,
Yeah.
something very much Vacheron Constantin. Another great thing we saw from them today, perpetual calendar and a wonderful new dial, Mark.
We did, yeah. I mean, it is an existing model, but they've brought out a new dial animation, so it's a nice slate grey dial. Perpetual calendar is executed like this with the day, date, and month. It's a classic dial configuration with the moon phase again at the bottom of the dial. It's a great looking watch. It's highly complicated. It's got 276 parts inside this very, very slim case. It is slim, but it's sort of 41 mil wide, which is a good size, and it's about £71,400. So it's an incredible piece of kit, really, considering it's a great perpetual calendar.
That was the slimmest, wasn't it? That was one of the slimmest on the market. They said about 4mm.
Yeah, absolutely so. Yeah, great watch.
Well, looks gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And in addition to the great complications that they're doing and the great innovations, last year they put a big emphasis again on overseas. We saw some good stuff from overseas. We can't talk about it all because a lot of it's embargoed and will be coming out later in the year. But just tell us a bit about overseas, Faye.
The overseas was relaunched last year, as you said, Brian, in the 37mm case size and also in the 41. What they've done this year, unfortunately, we can't show any of the pieces because they are under embargo. This is a model from last year, but we have managed to secure with the brand in terms of this year's new executions, first to market and exclusivity for a period at our store in our Watches of Switzerland store on Regent Street. So they are further commercial pieces. There's some changes that the brand haven't done before, so what they've done is they're continuing with something that is just fantastic, and they're making more changes and some really commercial pieces, both across dial and metal type, but you'll have to come and see us in Regent Street.
And again, great examples of great value and great excitement the consumer's getting today. Great innovations, great complications, a lot more use of steel, a great use of diamonds again, and just wonderful timepieces that we can't wait to present to our customers. So our last appointment today was with Audemars Piguet, a tremendous brand, and a brand that I'm sure you watch fans out there know is a real trend-setting brand. One of the most iconic products in the world today is the Royal Oak from Audemars Piguet. So we always look forward to see what they're going to present to us. Once again, it was in no way disappointing what we saw today. We'll have a quick word with a panel about what we saw. We actually don't have much to show you right now in terms of product, but I do have something very exciting to tell you about, and that is that we're going to have an exclusive interview tomorrow with the CEO of Audemars Piguet, Francois-Henri Benemayas. And we'll be delighted to bring that to you and hear his thoughts about innovation and what's happening in the world of luxury watches. But just to finish off with our panel, just a couple of quick words about the great stuff that we saw from AP today. So ladies first, Faye, what was your impression of what we saw from AP?
You're never disappointed with AP. It's always a great appointment for us to go to. I particularly like the 37mm automatic. It bridges the gap. It's not gender specific, and they came out with a new beautiful blue dial. So for me, that's the one I'd really like to take home.
Okay, and Dave?
Most of the people watching this will be AP fans, and the Royal Oak Chrono with the new sub-dials is one to look out for. That's enough from me.
Wouldn't disagree. Mark?
I wouldn't disagree either. The colours are amazing. A blue dial with silver zones, and they've slightly opened up the chronograph zones on the dial. It looks really cool. And there's a blue-black dial and a black-blue. Sorry, that's all wrong. There's a blue-silver dial. And there's a black dial with silver zones and a silver dial with black zones, and they all look brilliant. All look really, really cool watches.
Yeah, I would agree. Everything at AP looked great. But to be honest, everything today been a really exciting day. We've seen great innovations. We've heard from great people. I hope you've enjoyed listening to our direct feedback. Anything you have to say to us, please let us know. We'll certainly be very interested to listen to it. You can follow us on all of the social channels. And you can be here with us again tomorrow when we'll bring you our experience of Day 2 SIHH 2017. Right now I can hear a cold beer being poured somewhere with my name on it. So and Dave's, and a nice glass of wine for Faye, and wine or beer for you, Mark.
A cup of tea, I think.
Whatever you've deserved it. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll see you tomorrow.